Hello, how are you doing? Today, I want to talk about God. I want to talk about the Illuminati, okay? And I want to talk about how God cast out the Illuminati, even in heaven. And you might say, God, Illuminati, God casting it, that's crazy. Get out of here. But the Illuminati to me is really just evil. That's all. And when you look at it in the world, it's just a bunch of rich people that own businesses. They're powerful. They control the world. The Bible calls them wickedness in high places. Okay? And what I'm going to do is that I'm going to talk about God over in heaven. Okay? And I'm going to talk about the spiritual side. Last time I talked about the physical side. What happened in the earth and God created man. But this time I'm going to talk about the spirit and talk about God. Okay? God is all powerful. He's loving. He's all knowledge. Everybody gives praise to God. So I said, well, look, let me figure out who God is. Let me understand who God really is. Okay? So, and this is what I'm going to do here. And remember, for some of you cats that don't, understand me, obviously it's not meant for you. I look at the spiritual world as like from kindergarten to 12th grade. 12th grade is your elders, and above that is God and all that. If you just in kindergarten, you're not going to understand it. Okay, you're going to be upset. Okay, so this is more like for your advanced spiritual people. But it's for everybody. Okay? So I'm going to show you what I've learned about God. Okay? So in the beginning, God, I heard one elder tell me, he said, well, God, he created himself. And I was like, okay, God created himself. Because think about it, if you was to say, well, who created God? Well, who's his mother? You go there forever. As far as I know, God created himself. Okay? And he learned about the good thoughts and the bad thoughts, and he divided them up. Okay? And once he realized about the good thoughts, he accepted those. Bad thoughts, he put them aside. But he knew about them. Okay? And once he had figured it out, he said, well, I want companionship. So what he did, he created billions and billions of spirits. Okay? He created spirits. And what he did is he taught them the good thoughts. Okay? He taught them love, truth, righteousness. I mean, this is what he taught. Okay? So the spirit had a foundation up there of righteousness, of good. Okay? And he put some of them in control. He had some of them close to him. He put some in certain areas in control. And some of the spirits said, look, we ain't got to follow everything God says. We ain't got to do everything he said. And that's that evil that was coming within the spirits. They said 1/3 of the spirits had changed. 1/3 of the spirits decided to change. Okay? And do their own thing. Okay? And that right there caused conflict in heaven. Okay? That caused conflict. 1/3 of the angels decided to do their own thing. Okay? And they said not only that, war broke out in heaven from the angels or the spirits that didn't change to the ones that did. Okay? And you would think, well, why couldn't God just cast these jokers up out of there? Why didn't he just get them up out of there? He couldn't. He couldn't. God was bound by his own words. If God put out love, righteousness, truth, he couldn't now say, well, since he did this, I'm going to cast him out. Because after that, he'd be casting out himself almost. You know what I'm saying? I mean, he had good and bad thoughts, but his creation wanted to know, they wanted to do the good and bad thoughts. They wanted to do the bad thoughts. So he couldn't cast them out. Okay? So what God did, he said, well, you know what? I'm going to create a physical world, a physical universe. Okay? And that's what he did. That might have took millions and billions of years to come into existence. Okay? And eventually, he created man with the blood and bones and all that. And when that man eventually coming from that primitive state to the caveman, that's where you get your caveman, the Cro-Magnon man, and all that. When he eventually came to consciousness of where I came from, and who is this being? Who made me? Okay, that's when the spirits started coming down and getting in the bodies. All right. They would get in the bodies, they would get out of the bodies, they would get in the bodies. Eventually, they got trapped in the bodies. And I've also heard that when the spirits came into the world, the density was so strong, it would cause them to lose their mind, or lose their memory of where they came from. Okay, and from there, God said that. You see on the earth, you see man like struggling to try to get back to God, or try to understand God, or where he came from. Okay, now that what they said in the Old Testament about God was angry and he was mad and he was I'm not buying all that. I'm not sorry. I'm not buying none of that. God is love, period. That is my base. Okay? I'm not falling for that. I'm not buying that God is angry and upset, and he was angry, then he's happy, then he's jealous, and oh, please. You can get humans down here ain't got them ain't got all of them emotions. Some people are, they ain't all angry all the time. So you know a God that knows everything is not going to be angry and mad all the time. I'm not even going to have. He might have the emotions, but he's not going to live it out. He's not going to do it. See what I'm saying? What you're seeing is scribes and writers giving the best interpretation of what's going on at their time. That's all you're seeing. Okay? And then you got to deal with that. If you don't like that, sorry. Ain't nothing I can do. Remember that kindergarten to 12th grade level? There ain't nothing I can do with kindergartens and first grade if you don't understand. Sorry. Okay? Most of that stuff that they wrote was mythology. Okay? It had truth to it, but a lot of it was mythology. Just like Horus and Osiris. All right, that is their way of trying to get back and understand about God and getting back over on that other side. Okay, if you notice the Egyptians, it's all about the afterlife, getting back over to the other side. You see what I'm saying? Osiris and all of that, and that's exactly what God had programmed, had planned on that to happen. Because what He did is how He defeated that evil. Illuminati, whatever you want to call it, how he defeated that is getting the man to go through that experience what good and evil was. Because all he taught in heaven was good. He taught all the spirit. If you think about just a nice guy, an evil guy can go dog him out. I can be nice to him and I can dog him out. Okay? No. See, he had to create a man that knew the both good and evil. All right? Because they said at one point a war broke out in heaven. Okay, with Michael, his angels fought against Satan and his angels. Okay, that's that good and evil force fighting with each other. And you say, well, why didn't God just cast them out? Why didn't he put up with that? Because he couldn't. He couldn't. He was bound by his own words. Okay, so to figure this out, and 1/3 was slowly starting to change. Eventually, they would have took over heaven. Okay. How could they do that? I don't know. They could have done it. He started with one decided to change, and eventually the other one started to change with it. And 1/3 of that spiritual population had changed. Okay? They had changed. So what God had did in the physical earth, when the man started getting consciousness and started creating like a ladder for himself of knowledge of what was going on, he eventually learned the good and evil. The man did. And eventually he started evolving back up into heaven. That's what you heard the Egyptians talk about, going over that, Osiris helping you get over to the other side and all of that. Okay? That's all they talked about. They were very spiritual people. And eventually they got back up into heaven. And God said that he told the spirits up in heaven that you have to bow down to this man. And that man started setting things right. Matter of fact, the man, can you imagine a Khalid Muhammad going back up into heaven? Malcolm X, Martin Luther King, Gandhi or whatever hero you got, whatever country, now you got serious power up in there. Okay? And these guys did not play around. If they didn't play down here in a physical existence facing death 24/7, you know what they did up in heaven. So that evil spirit was no longer able to stay up in heaven. It was cast down to the earth. The Bible, you see in some scriptures, you see that they say that the Satan was cast out like lightning. He fell like lightning. He was no longer able to stay up in the heaven. But they said how bad it is now for you in the earth, because now he's come down to you. And that's what we're seeing today. We see presidents, we see good, we see evil. When them cats get in power, they make it tough for you. And the Illuminati, these are just big corporations, rich people that's doing evil. The Bible said it's wickedness in high places. Okay? And that's what you did. That's why you see Hollywood people, they got to come out and they got to hint about what's going on. Well, they want us to put on dresses and they want us to do this because they're controlling you. Okay? Satan don't care about color. He don't care about color. He uses whoever is there. Sure, white people dogged us out in slavery. Okay? But if you look at all over the world, they own people or the next culture over or the next race over, dogging them out. But that's the way Satan operates. He don't care about color. He'll use color to get you tangled up into not knowing what's going on. But the whole time it's him and his angels that's doing the dirty work. It's that evil. It's that evil. If you went to another planet where you don't have no color, these people are clear, you still have that same thing, good and evil. You say, well, I got to deal with it here. I got to deal with it now. Yeah, you do. And like I say, with this knowledge, you'll understand. Because if you wipe all the Asian people, all the white people out of the way, you got black, and it'll be the same thing. The Bible said that in 1,000 years, we're going to have peace after this chaos that we're getting ready to go through. 1,000 years, it's going to be peace. And that evil force or that devil's going to come right back. So that meant that whoever was in power, black, white, purple, or green, they're going to still be that same evilness. Because Satan don't care. He knows that he has a short time to get what he got to get from this world. And that's influencing us. He gives us all kind of material things, money, and, you'll get this, or you'll get this drug, or you'll get these millions, or you'll get that mansion. None of that stuff means crap. Sure, you want that stuff to live because you got to survive. But you ain't got to deal with all of that. You ain't got to be tempted. You ain't got to do evil to get that. It means nothing to God. And it means nothing to us. We have to wake up to understand this story. Those ancestors fought, died, wrote, so they would tell us this story. When God created the earth, he created it to where he didn't lay down the truth first, like he did up in heaven. He didn't. We were separated. So the caveman, the man, the African man, the Egypt man, he had to figure this out for himself. He had to bring it from within himself. He had to listen to his ancestors. He had to look at his neighbors. He had to look at an example of how man was living down here in the earth, and that's what he wrote about. And through all of that, they started to tie it back in together and understand how God was operating. And that's where we are today. Some people just study the same thing over and over, go to church and just study the same thing over and over and over and over, and it only goes so high. What can I say for that? You're in the second grade. You got to go to the third grade, the fourth grade, the fifth, the sixth, the seventh. You got to go to college. Most people don't want to do that. All right? So, anyway, this is just, and you say, well, what can all this do for me? Okay, so you tell me this. What will it do for me? It'll give you the truth so you can make good decisions. It's just like Osiris and Horus and Isis. If you look at that, if you really understand that story and look at it, these cats, Isis, so-called Set, took Satan and divided him up all over the Egypt. All right? Just like they divided all of us all over the world. Black people are everywhere. And Isis, the sister, took and put him back together. This is mythology, made up. Okay? But it has meaning to it. She put us back together. Okay? So we could rule. And that's what we got to do today. We got to get over these petty things that Satan put in front of us and put ourselves back together so we can rise up. And we need the sisters' help, and we got to work together. We can sit here and keep arguing about who got what and who got this. Those are nothing but little silly things that put in your path so you can't come together. Okay? If you think I'm right or wrong, I'm telling you the truth to the best of my knowledge. I'm not trying to get membership or money and all. Yeah, I need money and all that to survive, but I'm all right. I'm trying to talk to you and get you to come together. Okay? That's the next step. All right? I hope all this helped y'all, brothers and sisters. Okay? I hope this helped y'all. But that's our last leg. God said that we can overcome this. We can defeat Satan. We can't get him out right now, but we can lock him up. And that means that we got to come together and work together. All right? They said we'll lock him up for 1,000 years. He'll rise up and we'll take him down again. And that'll be the end. So, if you believe it or not, that's the truth that the ancestors told. All right? Peace.